Welcome back. It's part two. I'm going to pick up right where we left off. If you made it to the end of part one, you may have noticed that video cut off in the middle of a train of thought. What happened was is that that video was actually much longer, but my device corrupted and deleted the latter half of the video. So I decided just to break it down, post what I already had, and then I'll come back and keep doing as many parts as I need to get all of this information out. So this is the second part of this video, speaking on the demonic, wicked, satanic spell of homosexuality, the illusion of homosexuality. If you, if, I would recommend that you watch these videos in order. So go back and watch part one, part two, and this is going to be at least 4-part series at least in terms of me just covering the actual actual topic. So I would say this: I do not discourage people from leaving comments. If you have something you want to add or something that you disagree with or anything of that nature, I do welcome the feedback, especially the people in the homosexual community who are claiming and living that lifestyle. Because, like I said at the beginning, you are the people that I'm trying to reach. Because I was once under that spell myself, I understand, your misunderstandings on a lot of things. So uh, I welcome you to, come and try to, get clarification, anything of that nature. That being said, I would recommend you allow me to get everything out. Like I said, this is going to be like 4 parts. So I would recommend you at least getting through, part 1 through 4 and getting all that information so that you can have a total understanding of where I'm coming from, um, and get all of the information so that you can, take a big picture look at everything and together. Um, so there, I'm gonna start here. There was a comment that was left and it was deleted. That's why I'm trying to conceal this person's identity who left the comment. I don't know why they deleted their comment, but I would have loved to been able to go into the comments and engage with this person. But I'll just do it here in this video, and hopefully this person catches on to this video, and continues to watch with an open mind to get through the first 4 parts at least. Get all that information, and then you can have a very clear understanding of where I came from, because the part of the video that was actually posted in part one was just really, beginning stages. It wasn't really me diving deep. When I really started to get into the actual physical, spiritual ties and, the ancient practices that this is tied to, that part of the video, which was much more informative, which was actually what was deleted. So you really didn't even get the full scope of how this is, related to satanic worship. But I'm going to re-record that information in this video, kind of touch upon some things that are going to get even more uncomfortable than the first part of the video. So, like I said, I would just recommend, getting through all of that information before trying to debate or dispel the things that I've said, because like I said, there's a lot more information to come, and I think you need all of that to get a clear understanding of how this deception is being perpetrated onto the people. So I'm going to go through this comment, and like I said, I would have loved to engage with this person in the comments, and I hope that they make it through all of these videos. And feel free to comment, and I'm going to leave my email address as well. So if anybody wants to email me, one on one, and not have things discussed publicly, I would be more than happy to engage that way as well. I just really want to be able to open as many eyes as possible, because I think it was an amazing gift from the Creator that my eyes were open and that I was saved from that lifestyle, that I was able to be, that I was able to see truth. So I'll go through, this comment and basically kind of, point by point explain, what points they missed, and why they probably need to tune into the rest of the videos to get all of the information before trying to defend that lifestyle. So he says here, I listened to this with an open mind about the arguments you presented in this video. The problems I have are: one, you talk about Luciferians supporting gay rights and showing up at the parade, spreading Baphomet everywhere in the pentagram. You say that because they support gay people, it means that homosexuality is evil, when in fact they support many other causes against white supremacy, women's rights, etc. So does that make those evil just because a group of them goes to the rallies to support it? First of all, sorry, that was my phone. First of all, let me just put this on. Sorry, guys. Hold on. You know what? I gotta do that. All right. Sorry about that. So I'm just going to say it like this: you're asking the wrong question. You shouldn't be looking at Luciferians supporting other causes and saying, "Well, they're at these other causes, so does that make those causes evil as well?" The question that you should be asking, if you're really trying to get to the bottom of this, if you're really trying to open up your mind to the truth of the matter, is why are they here? Why are they at these gay parade rallies? Why are they making all of these shirts and these signs and symbols in support of homosexuality? Why are they telling us that to be gay means to praise Satan? Not trying to say, well, they're here, they're there, they're everywhere. So that must mean that, we're talking strictly about homosexuality here. So you need to get a clear understanding of what the connection is, because you're not going to see Luciferians promoting things that are of the creator. So even some of these other, causes that you're talking about, the entire world is satanic. And all of the isms that we have, racism, sexism, all of those things are also creations of the devil that are used to divide mankind, because once we are divided, that's how the few satanic people at the top are able to control an entire world. So yes, there are satanic currents to pretty much everything that we see, all the movements that we see in this world. But we're not talking about all those movements here. We're talking about homosexuality. So the question isn't, you shouldn't look and try to point the finger at other organizations or other causes, other movements and things of that nature and say, well, they're there, so just because they're being, no, you need to get an understanding of what they're talking about when they say be gay, hail Satan. When they have the rainbow flag and they say Satan love. When they have the signs and symbols that says the Satanic Church of Arizona or whatever is supporting homosexuality. You need to get an understanding of what that is. Don't waste your time looking at other people. If you're claiming this lifestyle, if this is the lifestyle that you're living, get an understanding of what the connection is between Satanism and homosexuality, because there's a clear pattern of you can find support elements from the Satanic Church and all that devil worship shit. They will come out for gay rights and things of that nature. So you need to understand why specifically that is there. Okay. Then it says, so does that make me okay? I get where you're going with it, but their argument isn't strong enough, in my opinion. Uh, and like I said, that wasn't the entirety of the argument. So if that's your thinking, that that argument alone did not catch you, that wasn't the entire argument. That was only me scratching the surface. So like I said, if you're really interested in truth, which I hope you are, please stick through the rest of these videos with an open mind to receive all this information. And then once the entire argument is made, then let me know if you still think it's strong enough or not. As you and I both know, as people who have been attracted towards the same sex, even I stay away from those symbols and don't practice it myself. This right here is what you need to be extremely cautious against. You do not have to pick up a satanic sigil. You do not have to worship, declaim your love for the devil. You don't have to do all of those things to be a practicing Satanist. The only thing that you need to do to be a practicing Satanist is to deviate from the laws and commands of the Creator and to do what is wicked. That's all you have to do. So do not fall into the trap of thinking that if I stay away from the signs and the symbols and I don't practice, their rituals and their black magic, that just means naturally that I'm not a Satanist. That is not what defines you as being a Satanist. You can be a knowing Satanist. You can know that you're worshiping the devil. You can know that and make that conscious decision to do that, or you can be ignorant, but still follow in the ways of the devil. You are still just as much as a Satanist as the person who is doing it consciously. Your ignorance does not absolve you of responsibility. So please do not think that just because you stay away from signs and symbols and you don't, deal with all of that consciously, that you're not engaging in Satanism. Okay. The argument that two men can't produce a child, many people, straight people, are unable to conceive a child due to medical reasons. Does that mean that they too are sinners? That argument, you're not necessarily understanding what I'm saying. It's not the union. I used to make that same argument myself. So logically that thought used to cross my mind as well. But it's not. A man and a woman is still the divine union that was put here on earth. Man and woman complement each other spiritually, physically. Um, you know, God created a man to be with a woman. Now, life is just proof of that divine union, if that makes sense. The fact that a baby can be birthed from the union between man and woman is just proof of the divine nature of that union. Okay? There is no proof of a divinity within a same sex relationship. So, a man and a woman who cannot bear children for whatever reason getting together is not the same as a homosexual couple, because a man and a woman is the natural order. Male and female pair together in all across all species, across trees. Understand? That is a union that produces life. The production of life is proof of that union being divinely ordained. So you cannot find that same proof of that union between man and man creating life, because they don't. Period. If everybody on this planet were to be gay tomorrow and never ever lay down with the opposite gender, the human race would die. So that is proof that that lifestyle does not lead to life. Understand, that would be the death of humanity if everyone were to do that. The Most High is not the death of humanity. The Most High, the source of life, is life. It is the thing that creates and continues to create life and sustain life. So if everybody were to jump on that bandwagon and live that lifestyle tomorrow, and there were no more children born onto this earth, that would not be of the Most High. Okay? But if every homosexual stopped engaging in that activity today, we would not have any shortage of life continuing to develop on this planet. So the whole argument that a man and a woman who can't have a child are the same as a gay couple is actually not true. It's a defense mechanism in your mind. Um, and then there's many other ways to contribute to the human population besides having kids. Not really. I mean, you can be a helpful person. You can kind of, you could try to do what you believe is good. You can, help take care of, nieces and nephews, or feed the homeless, or do whatever other things are out there for you to do. But in terms of, life continuing on this planet, the only way for you to contribute to life continuing on this planet is for you to procreate. And not saying that everyone has to do that, but that could never happen with the homosexual union. So the article you read, you picked one piece of writing that one gay guy wrote and used that as evidence for an entire community. I'm sure you and I both would never agree with the weird crap written in that article. Okay, I would have never agreed with that, with the crap written in that article. But what you must understand is that you're not taking enough of a step back. That was not just the writing of one gay guy who put that in the article. That's small thinking. This this movement is, if you really paid attention to what I was saying, and well, not what I was saying, but what was said in that article, this is a movement that has infiltrated the ranks of your government, of your news media, your athletes, everybody who we are looking at to give us direction on, the human race. This has infiltrated them. So don't the community that you're speaking of is a community that was born ignorant, the community that is under the illusion that this is just a natural way of life, the community who does not understand that they have fallen victim to a very large, very organized agenda, and that agenda is not going to come out. We're, the human race is just about there, but they haven't been prepped all the way yet to come out and just accept that as the norm. So they're still in the process of doing that. So they're still hidden right now. They're in plain sight, but they're hiding their true identity. They're hiding their true intentions. That is the way that they're continuing to be able to influence us. They're not telling us who they are and what they're about, because if they did, then that we would not fall for their influence. So they're still hiding within those ranks. They're still pretending to be those normal heterosexual individuals. They're still pretending to do all of those things, but behind closed doors, they are practicing these satanic rituals, which has a lot to do with what we'll get into in this video. So it is evidence for that entire community to me. You are talking about the sons who they wanted to sodomize. Okay, you person who wrote this comment are the person that they were talking about going after, about teaching how to lust for men, about being the men that you desire. You are the person. So understand that you were not just born that way, that there was an agenda set in place in this wicked world ready waiting for you when you were born. Okay. uh I have my own issues with the gay community. I have been burnt many times, but I do believe that you can have a healthy relationship and live a good life. Healthy relationship and living a good life is not really what the utmost concern should be, because what we consider healthy and what we consider good can be warped. These people understand human psychology, so they are in the process of teaching us to think of good as evil and evil as good. Okay, so your concern needs to be making sure that the source of your life, the source of your existence, the creator, the almighty, the most high, that you are, in alignment with that. That's what you need to be worried about. Okay, in today's world, it is harder than ever to find that. This homosexuality filled society, this lust filled society, it's part of the devil's plot to desensitize humans, to disconnect humans, and we're going to get into why it's not good for us to be out here and being all lustful and disconnected, because we'll get into that. But all of this is connected, sir. So just understand, it's a reason why it's harder to find that more than ever, because that's the direction that we as a whole, not just homosexuals, but everybody has been being driven into that direction, to uh, just be disconnected from basic morals, values, to be disconnected from real love, to understand how to facilitate and maintain real love in your life, how to actually love your neighbor as you love yourself. People are only worried about instant gratification. They're only worried about themselves. They're only worried about physical pleasures, appeasing their flesh. That is all satanic. So, the real creator, the most high, sent us here to be those humble, loving, caring neighbors. Okay, so Satan is trained in every way possible. It is not just homosexuality. So don't think that only homosexuals need to be on guard against this. So, you know, uh, people can point the finger all day and say, tell a homosexual that they're being, controlled by the devil or whatever the case may be. But, they could be doing plenty of other things in this grimy, twisted world and being Satanists their damn selves in their own way, shape, or form. So like I said, worry about you and the things that you're engaging in, and just try to get yourself right. Don't spend too much time, looking at everybody else and trying to compare and contrast, because you're going to miss it. Exactly like you said in this next sentence, not only for gay people but for straight people too. Exactly, both have their issues. Exactly. I believe there is evil as well as good. What you need to understand is that evil will come to you as good. Evil will pretend to be good and try to confuse you into thinking what is evil is actually good. And I believe in God, lowercase, okay, and the afterlife. But I think religion puts God in a box. And these very specific things we need to live by, we are going to hell, takes away from how big God in the universe actually is. Okay. First of all, um, I'm not even going to break down. It's a lot to unpack in that, but let's just go with this part here. I think religion puts God in a box. So you think it's, and it's not necessarily about religion. If you stick with me in this video, yes, I read the Bible. Yes, I believe that the rules and regulations set out in the Bible um, actually given to us by the Creator. But what I'm talking about it's not about any religion, because as you'll see as I go through this, the religious entities of the world are actually facades for Luciferianism. The Roman Catholic Church, the Vatican, which we're going to get into, is actually a front for Luciferianism, and they actually are very big components of this. So the same religion that's telling you, uh, to read your Bible is also the same religion that's telling you to go against your Bible. We're going to get into that when we talk about the Roman Catholic Church and the Pope, and all of the well-known cases of children being molested, little boys being molested by priests. All of that's not a coincidence. That's not just people who are, excuse me, sexually repressed and they're just starting to attack these little boys. No, pedophilia, that's all satanic ritual abuse, which is all directly connected to sodomy, which is what we're going to get into in this video. So the the same Pope that is the overseer of all the religions on the earth is the same Pope now that's saying, oh, we need same-sex unions. That's the same Pope that is actually slowly making homosexuality to be more accepted in the church. Many churches now are not even preaching against homosexuality as they once were. They're letting gays get married in churches and things of that nature. So um, it's a lot going on. It's like a double cross. Like there's no other way to say it, but it's like one big mind fuck. And you're talking about putting God in a box and limiting God. The Most High cannot be limited. There is no limitations for the Most High. The ones who have the limitations are us, the creation, the people on earth. We are the ones who have rules and regulations to live by. The Most High um, cannot be contained and can do whatever the Most High pleases. What you're talking about is just putting you in a box. And if you remember what that article said, is that following the Most High's rule and commandments, and preaching heterosexual lifestyle is what they call limiting your imagination. I forgot what else they said. It was limiting your imagination. Hold on one second. Yeah, they said that the family unit, talking about man, woman, and child, only serves to dampen the imagination and curb free will. So that's what you're talking about here. Doing as thou will. Aleister Crowley. understand why those people are pushing this. And they mask it as something so good, freedom and liberty to do whatever you please. What they're really getting you to do is escape, is to deviate from the commandments of the Most High, and they're masking it as some freedom and open mindedness and open, and all that shit is just, it's backwardness. It's not what they're telling you that it is. And then it says that it takes away from how big God and the universe actually is. So the whole comment about the universe, I will get into that later in a whole nother video. That's a whole nother topic, because the earth and the universe is not even what you think it is physically. So like I said, I'm going to leave my email for anybody else who wants to comment, anybody else who wants to, try to engage or have a discussion about it. I welcome it. And I hope that, this person continues to see these videos and continues to watch with an open mind. And I really do appreciate, the feedback. I don't know why the comment was deleted, but like I said, I'll leave my email. So just in case you want to do so, have this conversation privately, we could do that. But I'm going to continue on and get into the part of the video that was cut off, and we're going to talk about physically what the ramifications of homosexuality, the homosexual acts actually are, when we talk about the actual act of sodomy. So let me get to that page real quick. All right, so this is where we were at the end of the last video, and I was really about to get into the actual physical acts and kind of connect the dots between satanic rituals and the actual acts of homosexuality. Now, in my case, when I got to a point where I knew that I had to make some serious changes in my life, there was just underlying unfulfillment, very deep unfulfillment. Uh, and the world just kind of teaches you to go after what can actually satisfy you instantly, instant gratification. So when you're feeling any type of way, you kind of take do something physical to try to, release certain dopamines, hormones, or whatever the case may be, to try to cure that, to try to cure the problem, but it never actually does. So then you end up indulging more and more in whatever your vice is, your physical vice. The problem only gets worse. The problem only grows, and you only start to lean more and more on that vice and get more dependent. So let's just take, for instance, like a food addiction, for example. Some people can, just start to stuff their faces when they're upset about something. So, once you start to do that, your hunger, it becomes unquenchable. And once the high goes away from, eating, and you're right back to where you started, then you look at the TV and there's another commercial for McDonald's, and next thing you know, you're eating again, and that's how people end up being obese, from just leaning on that particular vice, all the time. So in my case, I was not living right. I didn't have an understanding of the Creator. I didn't have a good understanding of myself. I was deeply confused, had been since I was a child, about a lot of things, and um, wasn't eating right. Was drinking very heavily. Um, just in the streets parlaying and stuff. Like, it just wasn't the best look. And as a young, wild 20-year-old something, you think that's what you're supposed to be doing anyway. But something deep down in me knew that I wasn't gaining any true satisfaction or peace from that way of life. So I just decided to make some changes. So I totally stopped engaging in that lifestyle. I totally switched up my diet, started exercising, started to do more things. I started to consume, less sugar. I stopped drinking. just a lot of things I was able to do. And once I was able to do that, I learned very quickly that there was a direct connection between the physical and the spiritual. That they were not two separate things at all. That the physical was actually just a reflection of the spiritual. That the physical, it's a conduit. It's a, you know what I mean. What you're feeling internally in your soul, you radiate through your body. What you do to your body, what you intake in your body, actually affects the soul. So there was that connection was made clear to me. So I then began to understand that, things like soul ties, that you can't just lay down with somebody, wham bam, thank you ma'am, get up, and it's over with. You and that person are going to have some type of bond that's not going to be broken easily. If that person is carrying around a lot of negative energy, and they're just looking to know, use another person as a tool to take their mind off of whatever it is. When they do that, whatever is on their mind, they transmit onto that other person. So I, I knew that I had to be much more protective of my body, what I was ingesting, things that I was watching, things that I was allowing into my brain, my mind. A lot of the, trashy TV that you don't really think of. It's just entertainment. All those types of things. I knew I had to elevate past that, because part of the reason that I was feeling the way I had been feeling was because I had been taking on so much trash of the world. So once I stopped doing that, I knew that I could not return to that lifestyle, purely for the sake of uh, physical, gratification, because that's where my flesh was leading me, or what I thought was my flesh at the time. But now I know it's just my mind had been twisted. But I could no longer just do things for the sake of that. So I had to find an actual, what would be an acceptable circumstance for me to, tap into that extremely powerful sexual energy and to give it to someone. I had to know what would be a good conscious reason for engaging in that lifestyle, and I could not find one. And then I started to also understand that, the world was, purposefully geared towards a lot of the trash that we're into now. So, the lust, all of that. I started to understand that it was a reason, that it was an organization behind all of that, that was programming the everyday people to be more like that. So, I was becoming very aware of that and very mindful of that. So, this is not an article that I read like in the beginning of my discovery. Like, it's just something that I found that I thought would be helpful for the sake of this video. But this is kind of sums up, the things I found out about sodomy. So, just to be clear, when we get into the definition of sodomy, if you haven't been reading it already, sodomy is more than what people think of in terms of, you know, going through the back door. Um, it's actually any procreative sexual activity. So, oral, masturbation, all that stuff is sodomy. Um, all of that is sodomy. So sodomy is not only limited to homosexuality, but there is nothing other that there's not, but all homosexuality is sodomy. So I'm trying to, I don't know if I explained that right, but sodomy is not limited to homosexuality, but homosexuality is limited to sodomy. Okay. So I'll put it like that, but everybody can learn from this, but especially homosexuals. All right. So sodomy is generally anal or oral sex between people or sexual activity between a person and non human animal bestiality, but may also include non procreative sexual activity. So even bestiality here is counted as sodomy. And we're going to kind of go into that a little bit biblically and see, how that stuff is all directly related, because it really is all, it's all right there together in the Bible. So, um, but as you see here, it says that it may include any non-procreative sexual activity. Then it kind of go into the terms of it, there, the uses. The Jewish historian Josephus used the term sodomites in summarizing the Genesis narrative. About this time, the Sodomites grew proud on account of their riches and great wealth. They became unjust towards men and impious towards God, insomuch that they did not call to mind the advantages they received from Him. They hated strangers and abused themselves with sodomitical practices. So, impious really means wicked, like. And look it up yourself, because I don't know if that's the actual definition, but wicked towards God, whatever. Here, so when they talk about here that they hated strangers and abused themselves with sodomitical practices. So first of all, if you've ever read about Sodom and Gomorrah in Genesis and in the Apocrypha, those are the books that were removed from the Bible. Then just have an understanding that they were wicked in every which way. When people talk about Sodom and Gomorrah, I think they think mainly of homosexuality, which was a large component of their wickedness. But they were wicked in every single way. So when they talk about them hating strangers, that means that you couldn't don't just wander through Sodom, looking for a place to stay, or don't even accidentally go through there, because those people are going to take advantage of you. They're going to hit you over the head with a rock. They're going to invite you to their home just to take all your money for room and board. The judges were wicked. So, you couldn't go to the judges seeking justice for anything that had happened to you there, because it was just a horrible place. And their wickedness just went unchecked until it got checked and it got destroyed. So, they're talking about here them abusing themselves. The key word here is abused themselves with sodomitical practices. So the sodomitical practices, that, like I said, that was the sodomy. So it was not just limited to the back door, but it was all types of sexual perversions that they were engaging in. Their holidays would be like them just having you know these big orgies, basically, where they are um, swapping partners, raping virgins, of course, engaging in homosexuality, just, having these horrible, just very loose type of experiences. And, just get up the next day. And go about their business as if nothing happened, because that wickedness was just a way of life to them. So when people talk about today being in present day Sodom and Gomorrah, understand that it is not just related to homosexuals. All of the people are really taught to engage in just being very loose sexually with their temples. And as we go further, you'll see that really does have roots in satanism. Um, but you know, so when they talk about the sodomitical practices, that's what they're talking about. But if the key word, like I said here, is abuse themselves. So what you have to understand is that abuse, they most of the people were down. Most of the people were consenting adults, but they were still abusing themselves. So what you need to understand, and what a topic that we're going to, start to go into here, is that just because you are consenting to the sexual act does not mean that you are not being abused and that you are not abusing yourself. Okay, you are. You can consent to being abused. So my definition of abuse has grown to be, basically just using something or someone external to deal with what's going on internally. So if I have a bad day at work and I come home and I kick my dog in the face, then I'm taking out, what's wrong with me internally, and transmitting that pain, or seeking to get gratification on an external force to appease what's going on within me. So understand that if you are stuffing your face with unhealthy foods because you have some emotional trauma that you have not dealt with in throwing all those unhealthy foods into your body, you are abusing yourself. Understand? If you are being promiscuous because you're looking for love and you think that sex is the way to get love, you are abusing yourself. You are using your body to fill a hole in your soul. So anytime that you're doing that, you are abusing yourself. So even though these people were consenting, they were abusing themselves. So I just wanted to point that out. This statement adds, on account of their great riches and wealth, lend to the comprehension of the practice of tunnels of typhons, which refer to anal sex used to steal life force from their victims in order to gain wealth from the worship of Set or satanic practices. Satanic forces are material forces, and satanic ritual abuse practices are used to sell one's soul in order to gain material rewards through the possession and binding of satanic forces. So they'll talk a little bit more about the Typhonian thing as we go down. But if you've ever heard of, people in the Illuminati selling their soul, or if you've even, heard a step further about people undergoing these rituals, and when they are basically sodomized, um, that stuff is very literal. That's what they're talking about here. Because when you are allowing, these different physical entities to uh, violate your temple, they are then they are allowed entry into your body, entry into your soul, in which they can become the controlling force. So when these people are allowing this to be done to them, that's how they are selling their soul, because now their souls are no longer what's in control of them. They are now being controlled by those satanic forces that they allow entry. Okay. Now, here's an excerpt from some witch. He said, most witches, myself included, find it necessary to study his material and plug themselves into the magical current of Crowley's demon spirit guide, a mysterious being named a wasp. Now, when they speak of Crowley here, they're talking about Aleister Crowley saying, do as thou will. All right. The reason they want you to, they want to put all of these perversions into your mind and then tell you, well, go ahead and do whatever you want to do after they've taught you these perversions, is because they want you to break from the rules and commandments of the Most High, because then that opens you up to, be controlled by these forces that they're speaking of. All right. So there's a reason that Aleister Crowley, the Satanist that talks about doing as thou will, and then you see this recurring theme of, not being put into a box, or, not having your imagination or your free will curbed. All of that is satanic talk. Okay. That is not good. It sounds good to people who have been indoctrinated into this world to do whatever you want. That's not what is actually good. That's evil. What is good is to follow the commandments of the one who put you here, the creator. That is what is good. Okay. But me telling you that has been warped into thinking that I'm actually, closed minded and evil. That's not the case. So just pay attention to things like that. Owas is another name for Set, an Egyptian god. This next sentence: sodomy is especially sacred to Set. Okay. What was another name that they have for Set up here? Where was it? Where was it? I'm sorry. It's taking me too long to find it, because it's like I shouldn't be looking this hard. Set or satanic practices, right? Meaning Set and satanic practices are the same thing. So sodomy is especially sacred to Satan. It opens what are called the Typhonian tunnels, channels through which extremely powerful demons, like the horrible Coronzon, or Toronzon, I don't know how that's pronounced, can travel from the alternate reality and emerge into this universe and enter the sex partner's body. Okay? Sex, especially lustful and disconnected sex, is a major way in which demonic oppression can be passed from one person to another. This is extremely important for you all to understand. Sodomy is especially sacred to Satan. Why? Because you are opening tunnels within your temple, your body, which is a conduit to your soul, which is directly connected to your soul, your spiritual self, through which extremely powerful demons like whatever can travel from the alternate reality and emerge into this universe and enter the sex partner's body. So let me break down a little bit more about what demons actually are and how they operate physically so that you understand exactly what this is saying. Demons are spiritual beings, but unlike human beings, they do not have a physical vessel through which to operate. They don't have a physical vessel that is directly connected to them. They don't have that. So they're just wandering this world with looking for a home. They're seeking a home. They're seeking that physical place because this earth is a physical realm. You have to be a physical being in order to be able to, make changes and to affect change in this world. You have to be able to be a physical being to pick up things, to build things. You know what I mean? You can't do that in a physical realm if you're not a physical being. So that's what the demon is. So a demon is always looking for a way to emerge from that alternate reality in which they are living in a physical realm, but they're not physical, and emerge into this universe as a physical being. And they do that through entering a sex partner's body through sodomy. Okay? This is not just me talking. This is what they're talking about when they say witches and pagans for gay rituals, gay rites, rites. When they're talking about sodomy being especially sacred to set, this is what they're talking about. You need to understand that sodomy is directly related. Its origins comes from these satanic practices trying to demonically oppress human beings. Okay? That's what this is about. And it is not simply with, like I said, homosexuals. Everybody who is out here abusing themselves, being very promiscuous. If somebody has a demon on them, if somebody has one of these negative entities on them that have been allowed to come into fruition through, whatever wickedness they were doing, that same demon can be passed on to you. So if you're out here having sex with people with a whole bunch of negative energy, a whole bunch of demonic energy, be prepared to take all that on, especially lustful and disconnected sex. What is being preached in this world today with sodomites like Cardi B, Meg The Stallion, all these rappers, and all they ever talk about is just having random sex. Um, having sex and not giving a fuck about the person that you're having sex with. All this is what they're preaching today, not just to the homosexual community, to everybody. That's because your body is a temple, a divine temple. And when you abuse yourself in that manner, when you do not respect yourself enough to be guarded against what you are opening yourself up to, you are opening yourself up to wickedness. There is a reason that the Most High spoke against fornication. There is a reason that the Most High spoke against, being a Jezebel and being loose, because he understands what these temples are. He designed them. So he knows how they work and he knows what we're supposed to be doing with them. He knows how they should function properly. And that is through being very selective, being chaste, and having sex with someone that you actually love and someone that you actually know, so that you can trust that you're not opening yourself up to, a whole bunch of negativity. But when we get away from that and think, oh, we're consenting adults, we can do whatever we want. And you get to thinking that people who are, people who are virgins or people who are celibate are actually kind of looked at, in today's society as being weird, like there's something wrong with them. But it is actually those people who understand the gravity of that act and understand just how important they are. And they understand, the importance of that energy. It is the people who feel free to do whatever and do whoever, whenever, that got super high body counts, that think that they're so liberated. Those are the people who are lost and confused, and they do not understand that their bodies are temples, that there's spiritual ramifications and spiritual connections to everything that you do physically. So once again, bringing it back to sodomy, this is why they practice that. Okay, so here it says human orifices are portals. In the human body design, all orifices function as divine principles which serve as a physical conduit to its spiritual counterpart in another dimension. In most people that are spiritually activated at the soul level, all seven orifices on the face are directly connected to the archetypal mind in the fifth dimension, blah, blah, blah. So I'm not going to get into all the dimension talk and the chakras, because I don't have too much knowledge on that, and I don't want to get caught up in new age stuff. But you know the important thing here is that the orifices, the holes in your body, so your mouth, your ears, your nostrils, they all serve as a physical conduit to a spiritual counterpart. So this is what these people know. When these people are talking about gay rights and things of that nature, and you're thinking it's just about feeling love in your heart, and then feeling good in your physical self, they understand the spiritual ramifications. That's why these Luciferians are at these parades promoting homosexuality, because they understand this. It is the ignorant people who are just going around, following and listening to the world, the deceitful world, that don't understand this. But this is very true. All right. Male organs are the earth principle. Then here they list the five sexual male organs. And it says because male sexual organs are mostly external, they have slightly less vulnerable. They have slightly less vulnerability to energetic attack. So the external organs are the ones that are slightly, not significantly, slightly less vulnerable to energetic attack. So you can get this energetic attack by engaging in sex. Don't think that one partner is safe and the other is not. You're passing energy back and forth. All right. Now, female organs are the spiritual principle. Then they listed the six female organs right here, and then they say because female organs are mostly internal and there's a culture of misogyny. Ignore that part. That's ignore that. Just listen. The female organs are mostly internal. The female organs have a much higher vulnerability to energetic attack from consistent sexual abuse. So this just means that the internal sexual organs have a much higher vulnerability to energetic attack from consistent sexual abuse, right? So if you go here, number 4 on the female, which is internal, is the same one that's number 4 here on the male. These are both internal. So males who are being abused in that way are, much or have a much higher vulnerability to the energetic attack. So um just get that baseline understanding that this is all, satanic ritual abuse, satanic practices, sodomy, because it's not just done for no reason. So the Most High just didn't say, "Oh, well, it's not about." I'm trying to phrase this the right way because I don't want to even say that. I don't want to say like he's just. The Most High knew what He was saying when He told us not to do this. So what we're here on this earth to do is to figure out if we're going to listen to the world tell us to do otherwise, or if we're going to stick to what the Creator told us to do. So understand that these people out here that are pushing this as just another way of life, love is love and all that, they understand that they are most likely satanic agents, and they have an understanding behind closed doors of what these things really mean. If you yourself, who's calling yourself a homosexual, do not understand this, get an understanding, because the people who have taught you this lifestyle, the people who are preaching acceptance of this lifestyle, the government who is now making homosexual marriage legal, the churches who are now marrying homosexuals in their church, the world that is now celebrating coming out in pride, all of those entities understand this. They don't take this lightly. They are preying, preying, on your ignorance. Get educated about what it is that you're engaging in before you engage in it. Because once I understood this, it was a wrap. It was instant. There was no way on God's green earth that I could ever return to that. Okay. I mean, it was a no brainer, because like I said, I was in the process of cleaning myself up. So I was getting more of a spiritual understanding all around. So that was a part of it. But once I understood what this stuff meant and why it was so why, it was a no-brainer for me to turn away. Now, I will say this as I go forward. The next part of this video is going to talk about how people fall into the trap. It's going to talk about the mind games that they play to even convince people that they are homosexual. So, like I said, stick around for this whole thing, because if you're still walking around thinking, well, then how was I born this way? We're going to talk about that as well. Okay. Satanic ritual abuse. All right. Listen, look at this first sentence. This stuff is so crucial, man. Satanics and Luciferians are well aware who controls the mind controls the soul. Okay? They are aware. Not regular people walking this earth. They don't really take that into account, how important it is to be in control of your mind, to think for yourself, to think critically. They don't get that, and they just take whatever they see. They take whatever they see on TV. They take whatever they hear on the news. They take it and they go, not understanding that their mind is being controlled. But Luciferians control your minds because they understand that who controls the mind controls the soul. Whatever your mind is going to do, whatever your mind does, your body was going to follow. And like I said, there is a direct connection. There's no disconnect between your physical body and your soul. So they do a lot of work to twist your mind around, because ultimately this is a war for your soul. Satan knows that he is doomed. He understands that he will face eternal punishment from the Creator. All right. And he is here to try to trick as many people as he can, and to weed out all the people who refuse to seek truth and take them with him wherever he is destined to go. So all of this is really, a lot of the people, they think for some reason that Satan's going to rise up against God and do all this. And the devil already knows he's done for it. It's not about that. He is just trying to take as many people as he can down with him. All right. So they are aware that he who controls the mind controls the soul. So when they're talking about these satanic ritual abuse in which you're binding yourself to these satanic forces and having all these demonic oppressions, it's because they're trying to control your mind and control the soul. By starting sexual trauma and sexual ritual abuse techniques as young as possible, they hope to fragment the mind as well as the soul as young as possible. So when I touched on very briefly earlier, um, pedophilia and homosexuality being directly related. That's what I'm getting at. You may be an adult and you may be consenting, but you're still consenting to the same abuse that is taken out on these young children every day. Okay? So yes, they still want you to sign up for the abuse too as an adult. They still want you to get abused because they still want, that demonic oppression on your life. But they want to start when at all possible, and pedophilia is very rampant in this world. They want to start as young as possible because then they can fragment the mind as well as the soul as young as possible. Have that person broken as a child. This is why the cycle of pedophilia is what it is. That most people who grow up to abuse children will abuse themselves as a child because they were demonically oppressed as a child through that abuse. And that demon now controls the mind and controls the soul, and the body follows. And now, since they never got the help that they needed, they never told, or they never sought, to find the creator to heal them. They just walked around with that demon on their, you know, on their soul that whole time, never really healing from that trauma at all. They grow up and that demon is right there to have them carry out that abuse and demonically oppress the next generation. That's why this cycle is what it is. Okay. So let me see. When a person is sexually traumatized, it is the worst damage one can commit to the soul. And that act alone can fragment the personality into dissociative states, schizoid or extreme trauma based disorder. This is a tragedy with pedophilia and why it is so rampant on the earth today. When this occurs, the satanic entity can bind the person to negative entities through parasitism or the use the person involved much more easily. And so the goal of sexual torture is mental fragmentation as well as soul fragmentation to program the mind and siphon the person's consciousness and soul body. Okay? Understand the concept that I said before. You can consent to abuse, but you're still abusing yourself. When you are using your body improperly, when you are using your body for the wrong reasons, when you are engaging in these unnatural sexual acts, you are abusing yourself, whether you think it in your conscious mind or not. And understand that there is a very wicked organization that is running this earth. They're not just out here being a part of. They run the earth. They run your governments. They run your schools. They determine the things that we are taught, the ways that we are brainwashed. They run your television. They run your sports. That's what they were talking about in that manifesto. Because it's not just some physical sexual thing to them. It is a way to increase their stranglehold on humanity through homosexuality, through sodomy, through pedophilia. All of that is satanic ritual abuse. Okay? And the goal is to bind the person to negative entities through parasitism, having these demons just feed off of your energy, or use the person or people involved much more easily, using you. You think that you're just in control. That's what they want you to think, but you're actually being used. Okay? The goal of sexual torture is mental fragmentation as well as soul fragmentation to program the mind and siphon the person's consciousness and soul body. This is giving you an insight into the satanic roots of sodomy. This is giving you an insight into the origins of how this practice came to be and why. Because this earth has always been about a battle between good and evil. Evil has always been trying to corrupt the creation of the Most High. Since Eve in the garden, they have not stopped. That serpent has not stopped whispering. That serpent has not stopped telling people to bite the forbidden fruit. That is the battle that we are in today. Because when we bite that fruit, we allow ourselves to be bound to negative entities, to be used to continue to carry out this negative agenda. Our minds are programmed. Go ahead, it's not wickedness. Go ahead, do it. It's just love. Do it. Love is love. Do it. You're consenting adults. Do it. You don't have to love them. Do it. That same serpent that was talking to Eve is talking to you right now, trying to program your mind and siphon your consciousness and your soul body. All right? Let me see. Now, I'm going to touch on this part. Oh yeah, no, actually, no. I gotta go into that one too. I gotta go into this one too. Hold on. So let's just go right here real quick. The satanic agenda. Mind control frequencies and forms of electronic harassment generate bio-neurological impairment in the human body, which reverse and confuse brain signals. If you are suffering from the illusion that you are attracted to people of the same sex, understand that it's illusion, that you were not naturally born that way. You have been led to believe that you were born that way under an illusion, but what has actually happened is that mind control frequencies and forms of electronic harassment generate bio-neurological impairment in the human body, and your brain signals have been reversed and confused. Listen to this next sentence. The satanic agenda is to reverse human neurological functioning by conditioning the person, conditioning you, making you want to do these things, conditioning the person to create trauma and feel pain in order to activate their pleasure centers. The cycle of interconnection made between pain and pleasure centers is reinforced and conditioned, blah blah blah, which escalates into harmful, not normal at all, into harmful addictions, deviant behaviors, soul fragmentation, splitting behaviors, and bioneurological diseases. The satanic agenda, the reason they are at these parades, the reason they're saying be gay, hail Satan, is because the Satan wants to reverse and pervert everything created by the Most High, including the order of things, the natural order. They want to reverse human neurological functioning by conditioning the person to create trauma and feel pain in order to activate their pleasure centers. All right. Let me pause this real quick because I need to read over it because I have. Okay, so satanic ritual abuse binding. Moloch, remember that name, is a soul binding entity and energetic container used in satanic ritual abuse rituals. Many times, Moloch is used in the satanic ritual to collect and disperse the human being's vital energies to hierarchies of satanic spirits. When a percentage of the human being's vital forces and spiritual energies are collected by satanic spirits, the person is high risk for soul binding, mental fragmentation, dark manipulation, and possession. The Moloch is a type of siphoning construct that is used by the moon chain entities as well as satanic forces to mark the children of Earth with Moloch's signature as early as possible. So if you're not understanding what this is telling you, Moloch is used in satanic ritual abuse to collect your energies. And once your energies are depleted enough, you are at high risk for soul binding, mental fragmentation, dark manipulation, and possession. The Moloch is a type of siphoning construct that is used by the moon to mark the children of the earth with the Moloch signature as early as possible. So that's what they're telling you. This is, and keep in mind, this is all about SRA is sexual ritual abuse. That sexual ritual abuse they're talking about is sodomy. Okay? And when they say that this is the connection I want you to get. This is why homosexuality and pedophilia are connected as in terms of their ultimate goals. Pedophilia is only exposing or getting the children, into that early as possible, because when you get them young, the younger that they get them, the higher their chances of possessing them and using them as adults. Okay. But homosexuality, they want everybody with that lifestyle. So even if you don't have your first experience until you're an adult, they can still do the same things to you as an adult that they try to do to that child. But it's not going to be as easy to possess you. That's why they want to start as early as possible. So I'm not saying that everybody who is homosexual is a pedophile. I'm not saying that by any means. What I'm telling you is that the dark forces that introduce pedophilia into this world, and if you would agree that pedophilia is a dark force, are the same exact forces that entered, you know, that sexual ritual abuse among adults. That's all it is. The only difference between homosexuality and pedophilia, or homosexuality as people think of it today with two consenting adults, is that you are two consenting adults. And the child was abused against their will. The child was abused when they had no option. The child was abused when they were defenseless. You just as an adult chose to go through that same abuse. That same physical act is what you're going through. And whether you think of it as abuse in your mind is irrelevant, because keep in mind, a lot of this has to do with twisting your neurological functioning, confusing your brain centers. So you may think that you are choosing to do this out of free will, but you're not understanding you've actually been programmed by this wicked ass world. All right. So Moloch, all right, let me see. Then they talk about the moon children, of which ritual started by who? Aleister Crowley, the same one who told you to do what you will, do what you want. The purpose of this is to cultivate the children of the earth, to feed the sexual misery program into adulthood, and to give up their sovereignty. Who gave you your sovereignty? The creator. And sexual energies toward the continued parasitisms of these forces. Moloch is the entity called upon for accumulating personal wealth in sexual ritual abuse. This entails making a covenant, which is an agreement with satanic forces in order to have use over the collective forces attached to the Moloch tank, in order to manifest material goods on one's behalf. So, down here, there is a Moloch mind control program set up, blood and sexual sacrifice of the children on this planet. So please, I hope that you're getting an understanding from, you know what I've highlighted on this website. I'm going to leave, God dog, I'm going to leave a link on here. And I have not gone through this entire website. I've not gone through every page on here, so I am not necessarily saying that everything on here is 100% true. I do believe that there's truth in everything that I specifically highlighted. So you can only really hold me to what I talked about in this video. But like I said, I'm going to leave the site, leave the link for you to go through this yourself. Um, because, like I said, these things that Don't please do not fall into the trap of thinking that this is just hypothetical talk, that these are just folk tales or something of that nature. We've been tricked in a lot of ways into believing that we are simply carnal, that we are just physical bodies, and the wicked people of this earth know that to be the farthest thing from the truth. They are the ones who want us programmed to believe that, so that we believe that there's no ramifications, that there are no consequences to our actions, so that we can just go out and do what we please as long as we consent, or we can just follow our hearts, follow our flesh, as long as we are doing what we want to do. They want us to think that way, so that you know because people would not engage in satanic ritual abuse if they knew it was satanic ritual abuse. So they have to paint it in this whole different light about pride and love and acceptance and all those things to make you think that what is actually evil is good. Okay, so please, 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 um, don't just believe what I'm saying. Go forth and do your own research. Get into an understanding for yourself. But we're gonna keep digging a little bit further because I got more I want to cover in this particular video. So hold on, let me get to the next site. All right, so like I said, the any website that I highlight or that I leave a link to, I'm not necessarily putting my rubber stamp on every single thing that that they speak of. But the what I highlight in here, I believe is truth, and that's not to say that they're wrong about anything else that they post. I'm just saying specifically the things that I agree with are the things uh, that I highlight. So anything else, if you want to take from them, you would just need to use your own discernment. That's all I'm saying. Here they have this picture here of all these, and this is obviously a boy as well. But basically, a picture of these four. So sad. These four young men here who are obviously just twisted up in this world. They are obviously under that illusion. So um, here, the picture here says sexual abuse, pedophilia causes America and the West, the source of world filth and evil, gender confusion. So it's just sad to know. And I mean, I'm not gonna say I was ever, out there like this and all that, but I'm not above it. I had the same, I was never no trans. Sorry, but um, it's sad. This attack starts against children. It started against me as a child. So it's anyway. I'm gonna move on. Devil worship, witchcraft, and sodomy among blacks. Black Greeks promoting same sex in the black community. Okay, here a deep investigation into the worldwide Catholic, Jewish, Islamic Illuminati, because all these religions, like I told that, like I said to that person about the comment about religion is actually masked for Satanism. And we're gonna kind of understand that just a little bit more as we go through here in this video. But um, so, damn, I thought I turned it down. It's not just about religion. The creator is not of religion. The creator is the reality of the situation. Everything else, all the religions, all the isms, the homosexuality, everything else is an illusion from the devil. Okay. If we were all just in reality, then everybody will be on one accord. We will all be, loving our neighbor. We will all be nurturing healthy relationships with one another. We would all be taking care of children to make sure they were not subjected to this wickedness, and we would all. This really would be, a paradise. It wouldn't be the slavery hellhole that it is today. So don't confuse the Most High with the religion, because, like it says here, they're all working together in a worldwide organization, and these religions are just used for division and different ways to teach people wickedness under the guise of righteousness. Um, the Greco-Roman world, Greco-Roman culture, or the term Greco-Roman, when used as an adjective as understood by modern scholars and writers, refers to those geographical regions and countries that culturally were directly, long term, and intimately influenced by the language, culture, governments. Govern meaning control, mental meaning mind. So the word governmental, it literally means mind control. And religion of the ancient Greeks and Romans. Funny, America, which is, Babylon the Great of today, bases itself upon two European cultures that practice pederasty, which is defined as man and boy love. Greece and Rome both celebrated and continue to practice pederasty. Of all the European cultures to choose from, this is their choice. It is good to note some European cultures didn't practice pederasty, but had it imposed upon them by Greece and Rome and other later empires that spurned from these two, such as the French, Spanish, and British. So I'm trying to see if there's just briefly here to talk about the left hand path. This is going into black magic. I'm trying to see if there's anything that is specifically related. There's some other good. There's some other good information on here. Let's see, but I don't think that there's anything that's more specifically related to this topic here. Yeah, I think that's all I wanted to get from there. Let me see. Yeah, they kind of go into some other things. Temples. Okay, sodomite stems from a culture cult of prostitutes of Sodom who were mostly males, yet had females who partook in cult prostitution and ritual sacrifice as a form of economy. They formed a criminal mafia and harassed and tormented others. They were inherently evil, and thus the Most High destroyed Sodom. Sodomites are different from homosexuals, who are merely those confused by sexual trauma experienced at young ages as a part of the subtle sodomization of humans per the Gay Manifesto. That same look, we were in the same thing we're in. Okay. Oh, I didn't get. I don't know if I got down to this part. Harry Hay, the founder of the gay rights and homosexual movement in England and America, was Harry Hay. Like Alfred Kingsley, Hay was a homosexual and a follower of Aleister Crowley. One of the central messages Hay sought to propagate throughout his life was enlightenment through sexual perversion and magic. In the late 1970s, Hay had returned from a decade in New Mexico, where he was seeking a living Burdash, a Native American gay male spirit guide. The experience of connecting his sexuality and his magical self had so completely affected Hay that he, along with his companion John Burnside and a small circle of friends, formed a gay men's spiritual movement they dubbed Radical Fairies. Throughout his writings, Hay not only attacks the moral order, talking about the natural order man, woman, child, but also relies on the wisdom of Aleister Crowley to buttress his homosexuality. Hay unapologetically declared, the resemblance between Crowley and Hay is quite striking. Both men dropped out of college, both men were involved in homosexual magic, both men loved poetry, and both men hated the moral order. So I don't think I actually even read that. I'm reading that with you guys for the first time. But look into these things. If you're in that community, look up Harry Hay, and see if you can figure out, the truth behind these things. I guess this is a book here about him. Um, the Trouble with Harry Hay. I don't know what that's about, but you know, these people are part of the Freemason cult. Like Freemasonry is just another leg of the Vatican. Um, so they're all employed by this wicked organization, the Vatican, which just pretends to be this religious organization, but it's actually much more than that. Um, but yeah, that was some good information. So what caught my attention too, I had this word pederasty. I ran across it when I was looking up Bible verses that I'm going to get into later, and that's when I saw that it was about man boy love, right? So they were talking about pederasty, and then a sodomite being, the person entering the back door, and then the catamite was the person who was actually being violated. So um, I just really hope that, like I said, that you can take what I'm giving you and build on it, and research it and figure out for yourself, the truth of these things, because you really should not be doing anything with your body that you do not have a complete and total understanding of. Just as you shouldn't eat anything that you don't know what it is, you should not be doing anything sexually that you don't have a good understanding of what it means, to your soul, to your energy, to all of that stuff. Because don't let the world tell you that your body doesn't matter, and that you're supposed to be sexually free to the point where you're just jumping around from bed to bed. You are much more precious than that. Um, and you should know that, and you should carry yourself that way. And you should also understand that there is a natural order, and while you may be one of the ones who are just confused by the experiences of this world, just have an understanding. Step outside. That's what I mean when I say the view from out here. We're stepping outside of this world and looking into it, with critical eyes, and understanding the game that's being played. In order for you to be down with all of this disgusting bullshit, you can't know that it's disgusting bullshit. So just because you in your mind right now don't think that it's gross and that it has these meanings and that it's wicked, that doesn't mean that it's not the case. That just means that you don't see it. So you need to step outside and try to make sure that you can see everything, as a whole. And I just want to let me touch on this real quick, and I'm gonna cut it off here because I know it's getting kind of long. So one second. Okay, so if you do a quick um, Google image search of the word pederasty, the first thing that you're going to see is a lot of things that come from the Greco-Roman culture. So you're going to see that pederasty was actually a big part um, of Greek and Roman culture, and it's not because people were just born that way. This is ancient sexual ritual abuse that goes in cycles. So, it's important for them to get young boys let me put up something that's gross. It's important to get young boys, abused at a young age so that they can go this route basically. And that was a big part of their culture. So America, like they said in their article, is based a lot. We do a lot of veneration of ancient Greece and ancient Rome. We've taken on a lot of their practices and their cultures, to this day. The world, not even just America. When you talk about, the Olympics, Olympians, all that shit is Greek. So, those ancient Babylonian civilizations still have a hand on today's society because today we're still living in Babylon. So, you need to start taking a deeper look into, the wickedness and how it is connected into everything. Like, and this picture was kind of like, it was the more tame one. There's some actually very disgusting like artifacts that really kind of like display what this is all about. This is a grown man and a young boy. When I talk about that manifesto about sodomizing your sons, this is that ancient practice that this is tied to. You understand? So for that person to say, well, I wouldn't believe in that crap, most of us wouldn't believe in that crap. Well, you might be this boy who doesn't know any better and think you just naturally were this way because you were preyed on by this world. So you gotta, like I said, understand that this is a long ancient tradition that has been going on. And a few decades ago, a few generations back, people knew that this was wickedness. We've been slowly programmed generation by generation to fall farther into wickedness. That's why, as that person said in that comment, it's harder today to find real love. It's harder today to actually, find that righteous relationship, it's because this earth is doing that on purpose. It's moving us away from all that on purpose and closer to this. All right, just that lustful, disconnected, sodomitical abuse, so that we can all be demon possessed and we can all be, doomed just as these people are doomed. All right. So I really put this up just to kind of one, to show you the direct connection to Greece and Rome, so that you can understand what I'm telling you about. What I'll say about this. Hold on. So when we talk about the Catholic Church, the Roman Catholic Church, Greco-Roman, and this is the same church that has all of these issues with sexually abusing little boys. Now I'm hoping that you can draw the connection between the satanic ritual abuse, and I'm telling you that these people are actually Satanists that masquerade as God-fearing people, um, that use their positions of power and trust to then, put so much wickedness into the world. So this is why pederasty is so connected to Roman culture, the same as the Vatican of the Roman Catholic Church. So this is why they are having all of these issues, because it's not even something that they can hide, because it's such a prevalent practice within that circle that people are going to know about this. So this is the reason why this is all directly connected. So I'm hoping that you can see the direct connection between, the Roman Catholic Church, the Vatican, Greece and Rome, America today. Um, Understand how all these wicked forces in high places, our governments, um, all of them are connected to this ancient practice, because like that gay manifesto was not a joke. All of the people who run this world are in with this wickedness here, and they do a very it's a very involved job to blind you to this truth and just to make you take the wickedness and run with it. So you have to be a step smarter than that. You have to know what we're up against, and you have to know to turn away from the ways of this world. Because if you, whenever we have to meet with the Most High, I am convinced that we're not going to be able to claim ignorance, because all of these things that I'm talking about you are able to see them if you seek it. If you seek the truth and you want to make sure that you're not doing wickedness, instead of just trying to defend what it is that you're doing, then you will find these things. All I had to do was seek this information, and it was all revealed to me, and it changed my life forever. So um, that's one thing. And then before I close out, I'm gonna draw one more connection between you know. Um, hold on one second. I'm gonna wrap it up soon. I promise. Hold on. All right. So I just wanted to also kind of, draw this last connection so that you can really understand that this is very literal. This is not just a conspiracy theory. This is not just me guessing. These people are about this. Everyone that you see on television, um, your politicians, your athletes, your actors, your actresses, your musicians, your political activists. All of these people are actually employees of the Illuminati, and they have sold their soul through whatever satanic ritual abuse or whatever else they had to do. I don't know the ins and outs. Um, but they are fucking demons. Excuse my French, but that's what it is. And they bring you these things as jokes. They tell you the truth as a joke, so that you think that you don't take it seriously. You hear a laugh track and you keep on moving, and then the lies that they tell you, they tell you that on the news with a serious face so that you take it seriously. So everything in this world is backwards. So the things that they give you as jokes is actually what is truth. Now here we have, who is this? Dwayne the Rock Johnson, big celebrity movie star, um, you know, all up in the system. He's someone that has great influence and a lot of face time with the masses. So he also allegedly has a daughter, right? So this is somebody who has a father. This is supposed to be the father of a young child. Now, you listen to this joke and you tell me, you know, is this funny? Do you actually see somebody with a little girl at home making a joke like this? I don't care how much he got paid or what he was told to do. Something is not right about this.
My name is Roy, and for the most evil invention in the world contest, I invented a child molesting robot.
So for the most evil invention in the world, he invented a child molesting robot. Listen to the laugh track. That's funny. Like seriously, I'm asking you seriously. What about that is supposed to be funny? What about building a child molesting robot is supposed to make me laugh? And why am I not supposed to be disgusted and appalled? This is what I'm telling you. These people are Luciferians, and they're trying to desensitize you to what is blatantly wicked as hell by putting laugh tracks on it. It's not funny.
I beg your pardon, what? I'm sorry, I'll speak up. It's a robot that is designed to molest children.
Still laughing. Still funny.
I call it Robo Chomo. You see, it's powered by solar rechargeable fuel cells, and it costs pennies to manufacture. And it can theoretically molest twice as many children as a human molester in, quite frankly, half the time.
You hear all those details they're going into? Making a joke of child molestation? It's not because they find it funny. It's because if they make it a joke to you, it desensitizes you, the person watching. It twists your brain. It twists your mind. That's why they're making this joke here. You cannot tell me that a father, a loving, doting father who is concerned about the safety and welfare of his daughter at home would get on national television where it is known that we have perverts and all types of people running around, trying to hurt children, would get on in front of millions of people and make this joke. Use your brain. What is really going on here?
Do I win the contest? I win. Seems like I win.
Oh my God!
What's wrong?
What's wrong? My most evil idea was a blizzard in July.
Right. Well, I went in a slightly different direction with the assignment.
You built a mechanical sex predator!
Yes. That's
They're all sex predators.
That's exactly right. This guy gets it. You get it.
Oh my God, no I don't.
How do you even build a child molesting robot?
Listen to this.
No.
How do you even build a child molesting robot?
Well, that's a great question. What you do is you start by building a regular robot, then you molest it and hope that it continues the cycle.
You heard that? You heard that? Hold on. Let's run it back and slow it down. This is the reason they want to molest children. Listen.
Dear Lord Almighty, that's the most hidden Lord
of the cycle. You molest it and hope robot. Then you molest it and hope that it continues the cycle.
And then they laugh. This is what that satanic ritual abuse is about. This is what that sodomy is about. Okay? Once you are broken, once your mind is programmed, once they do all of those things to rip you from the natural order, the way that you were actually created, for men to be attracted to women, women attracted to men. Once they're able to do that and get you caught up in their lifestyle, they are able to take over. So that is why this is being pressed on the world. That is why they making jokes about child molestation, because this, where we live, is Sodom. This is Babylon. This place is not good. It means you no good. So you cannot watch TV. You cannot watch with your emotion. You can't let them tell you what to be proud of. You can't let them tell you what it means to be a good person. You can't let them tell you what it means to be free. You cannot let them do that, because they are here to deceive you. And they know the things that I am talking about in this video are true. They know. So don't argue with me. Get an understanding for yourself. Okay? Now, I'm gonna draw this connection between the rocks. Okay, so we're gonna refer to the Bible very briefly right here, just to finish drawing this connection. But we're going to talk about Leviticus chapter 18, right? So I'm using the New International Version, not necessarily because I think it's the best version, but because it kind of breaks it down into layman's terms and gives us, the headers. So Leviticus 18 is about unlawful sexual relations. Okay. So everything that they're going to talk about in this chapter is about unlawful sexual relations. So if we go down to, I know it starts 22. All right. 1, it says 21. Leviticus chapter 18, verse 21 through 23. Do not give any of your children to be sacrificed to Molech, for you must not profane the name of your God. I am the Lord. Do not have sexual relations with a man as one does with a woman. That is detestable. Do not have sexual relations with an animal and defile yourself with it. A woman must not present herself to an animal to have sexual relations with it. That is a perversion. Do not defile yourself in any of these ways, because this is how the nations that I am going to drive out before you became defiled. Sodom. Even the land was defiled, so I punished it for its sin, and the land vomited out its inhabitants. But you must keep my decrees and my laws. The native born and foreigners residing among you must not do any of these detestable things. For all these things were done by the people who lived in the land before you, and the land became defiled. And if you defile the land, it will vomit you out as it vomited out the nations that before you. So if you see verses 21 through 23 talk about, first, sacrificing your children to Molech. Second, not having homosexual relations. And third, not committing bestiality. If you remember when we talked about the definition of sodomy, it was a broad umbrella that included any non-procreative sexual activity. Okay? So that included bestiality. So just understand, in the Bible, all three of those things were tied together, because that is a biblical understanding of what sodomy is. And even the Satanists know that. That's why they have it listed under that umbrella. Now, when it says, do not give any of your children to be sacrificed to Molech, you must not profane the name of your God. A lot of people think that this is about, killing the children, child sacrifice in that manner, which these wicked people do. But, that is not specifically what this Bible was, that's not what this verse was referring to, because as you remember, chapter 18 is about unlawful sexual relations. So when they're saying here, do not give any of your children to be sacrificed to Molech, you must not profane the name of your God. I am the Lord. They're talking about not sacrificing your children in the way that they will be sexually violated and sexually ritually abused, so that they can become a victim of all of the things that we discussed. This was talking about not sacrificing your children by allowing them to be sexually molested. Okay. I greatly believe that the word Molech, which is sometimes spelled with a ch at the end, is where they derive that word molest from anyway. Um, but all that is right there because it's tied directly together. And if you remember when we were going through, this is the same name. This Moloch is the same thing as Molech. So this is what they're talking about: marking the children through the dark manipulation and the SRA, the satanic ritual abuse rituals. All of this stuff is abuse, and it all has the I don't want to get repetitive, but I think I've said it enough in this video. Now, let me see what I wanted to. Now, The Rock here, I think he's since covered this tattoo up, right? And I think he was trying to say it was the Brahma bull or whatever, another religion. And I remember no religion is exempt, but here we have this bull here on the arm. He's made the joke about the child molesting robot, but let's see, this bull is actually, can't do it that way. Hold on. The bull is actually Molech. This is a child sacrifice. This is Molech. Okay? That's who he has tattooed right here. Mr. Child Molesting Robot. Okay? Mr. Child Molesting Robot has Molech tattooed on him. The soul binding entities that wants to mark the children of the earth with Molech's signature as early as possible. Okay? The ones that we were told not to let our children be sacrificed to when talking about unlawful sexual relations. So I know this video's ran kind of long, so I'm going to wrap that up here. Please, like I said, look into this for yourself, get an understanding, and, hopefully grow in truth. The next part of this, I'm gonna kind of probably do a video with more Bible verses so that you can have a awakened understanding of what those things were really saying. That you can get out of a religious thought process when you hear these words, and see them for what they're really truly trying to warn you against. But I am going to really do, and that's going to take. I'm gonna really try to do as much as I can on that, but talk about all of the different ways that we are lied to as children, that we are deceived as children, because it's not solely through sexual abuse that one could grow up to believe that they're homosexual. They could be dealing with generational curses, and a lot of times, we are. I'm trying to explain it without getting into too much detail because I need to wrap this video up. But there are just a lot of ways that the mind can be twisted into thinking that that you actually have that sexual preference when it's actually not the case at all. So I'm going to get into that too on the next one. So I'm trying to think if there's anything else I need to say. I don't think so. I'm gonna wrap it up. Thank you for sticking around. If you have stuck around, feel free to email me. I'm gonna drop my email. But like I said, please try to let me get through the rest of the series, at least through part 4, before you say anything. Not before. Not. I'm not telling you that you can't say anything, but I'm just saying you'll have the greatest understanding possible if you let me get all the information out first. But if you do have any questions or you want to get some clarification, I'm going to open my email up to that so that you can hit me up and we can chop it up if need be. And like I said, I really just hope that somebody can have their eyes open like mine were, because it really is a great gift to be able to escape that wicked lifestyle, and to know that. Just to know that there's something better for you. And I will, like I said, I promise do another video to show you that, it's a lie from the pits of hell that people are born that way. Our minds are twisted, as you saw in this video, and I'm gonna expose that too. So I'm not just gonna leave it. I don't want people to think that since this is demonic, that you were somehow born demonic. No, that's not the case. You were born and you were lied to and led to believe that you were, naturally born with the inclination, but that's not the case. So I'm gonna stop talking now. We out here.